We could change it to like, Katabi, Katabi, kick the bucket, Katabi, Katabi, you can suck it, and stuff like that.
Oh my God, you're early!
I am? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I still got coffee on me. How are y'all doing? Oh, okay. I was gonna say it could be early. I don't know what that is. If I look totally disheveled, they had me double booked today. I was supposed to be signing autographs at the same time that I was supposed to be at the premiere of the Carnival dub. How many of y'all got to see? Anybody get to see the Carnival? How was it? Awesome. I really enjoyed it. Shantique's voice makes me laugh. It's just such a cute little voice that most of the time we were recording the show, they had to turn him off because I couldn't stop laughing. So if you looked, even in the few minutes that I was in the room, I couldn't stop laughing the whole time we were watching it. I was like, shut up, you're going to miss the spider lady. So anyway, awesome. This is my favorite panel because it can be about whatever the F we want it to be about. So I guess I'll get through the boring introduction so we can get to all the fun stuff. My name is Greg Ayres. I do a bunch of stuff and get in a lot of trouble. I'm a voice actor. I've been a voice actor for, I guess, 14 years now, which is crazy. To say I was at any job for 14 years is a little spooky. But I do primarily work for ADV Film, or not, I started working for ADV Films, primarily work for Sentai Filmworks. Wow, I said something horrible and just lost half the room. This is not the Smash Brothers panel, sorry. It's not the Hunt Down Kurt the Olsen Twins panel. No, wait, that's only in my dreams. I'm kidding. But I'm very ADD, by the way, as you can tell. So yeah, I primarily work for Sentai Filmworks and Funimation and Orbitron 5000, Seraphim Digital now. I've been lucky enough to work on some video games. Gotten to work on over, I think it's now over 250 titles, which is awesome. But it makes it really weird when somebody goes, what are you in? Like, what do you watch? Really cool. Last summer I got to be a part of the Toonami relaunch with Dead Man Wonderland, which was awesome. And the funny thing is then Monica and I went on to have the lead in the next summer's Bloody Chiller called Another, which was fun. And I can't tell you yet, but I'm in another really dark show that I just started, so I really love it. And it's not Attack on Titan. I'm so glad they have announced the cast of that show. There's this big thing on Reddit when that was going on. There's all these people like, Greg Ayres is going to play Armin, Greg Ayres is going to play Armin, Greg Ayres is going to play Armin. And so like, they said, well, we'll be announcing the cast list at Anime Boston. Well, like, for the next 3 weeks, my Twitter feed was bombarded by idiotic people that were either freaking out and wanted me to say that I was playing Armin, even though I wasn't. And I'd already said at a panel that you could already find on YouTube that I was not. I'd said absolutely not in Attack on Titan anywhere. So they were like, oh, he's playing. But there was this other group of people like, hey, Greg Ayres, is he playing Armin? I would never watch Attack on Titan. So I was just like, rest assured, everybody can get over the big case of butt hurt that you have right now. I'm not in this show with these muscle people or whatever. And so then they announced that it's going to be at Anime Boston. They're like, well, Greg Ayres is at Anime Boston. He's got to be in it. I'm like, I've been in Anime Boston for the last 10 years. I show up for that party. That's what I do. So anyway, it would be like somebody going, oh, we're going to announce the cast of Cellular Hello Kitty at Anime Detour. Well, Greg Ayres is going to be there. Where's Anime Detour if I'm not in Hello Kitty? What are you talking about? So anyway, I get off on tangents, obviously. So I'm a voice actor. I'm also a DJ. I'm really excited. I'm going to be playing until like the crack of dawn tonight. I have some of the nerdiest effing music you've ever heard. I'm so excited about it. Got this electro grind remix of the Green Hill Zone song from Sonic. I have a dubstep remix of the Animaniacs theme. I have all this stuff. And some nerdy Star Wars stuff. And so also some really cool classic stuff. I've got some unreleased Skrillex stuff that I'm going to play tonight. And a collaboration that Skrillex and Knife Party did that never got released. So I've got a bunch of really cool stuff I'm going to play tonight. I've also done other work in the anime industry. I've been a huge anti-piracy advocate and very part of a lot of social causes within our community, whether it's anti-bullying initiatives or the It Gets Better project or whatever. And I guess the other thing I do is I spend every weekend of my life at a convention. I'm so excited to have 3 weekends off after this. But the funny thing is, guess what city I'll be in next? Minneapolis. I love how I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks and then I'm coming right back here for Anna Minneapolis in a few weeks. So, but anyway, yeah, I spend most of my time doing anime. When I'm not, I'm pretty much a homebody. I stay at home with my dogs and my prairie dog and my fiance and I kill a lot of zombies on my time off. I'm a hero at my house for all the zombie killing. But anyway, so yeah, that's it. That's the boring part. Now, you guys, this is about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about music, you want to talk about my prairie dog, although past the fact that she needs to be on a diet right now because she's eating too many cashews, there's not much to say about my prairie dog. But yeah, we can talk about whatever, yeah.
Okay, I was at your panel yesterday. What do you have against people who play Super Smash Brothers tournaments?
Oh no, okay, this is a great story. This is a fantastic story. It's nothing about Smash Brothers. It's about bad con programming. I used to do a panel called What Does Yaoi Have to Do with That? And it's a panel about Yaoi for both Yaoi haters and Yaoi fans. It's just, again, another social panel, getting people to talk to each other, because at the time there were a lot of people like, I hate Yaoi. I'm like, well then don't watch it, asshole. You know, like, so I did these panels that were like just getting Yaoi fans to get it out of their system, like why they like Yaoi, and people that hated it, why they hated it, and I did like this interview with a wild Yaoi fangirl. It was a fun panel. But OhioCon, which is one of the cons I help staff, I'm a double department head, so like you would think they wouldn't have screwed up my schedule. They put the Yaoi panel and the Smash Brothers panel in the same room. Yeah! So like the whole panel, they were like gamer dudes. It was obvious they were Smash Brother guys, and they like had their backpack, and they're like come in the room, they're like. So like I got to the point where anytime the door was open, I just do close mic. I'd be like, "This is not the Super Smash Brothers panel." Like, and it got to be a joke. So Super Smash Brothers at conventions is one of my favorite things. I was also talking to this, like, I can say asshole. You can say that on television. I was talking to this asshole voice actor that thought that like every voice actor should be paid $5,000 to be at a convention. I'm like, you do realize there are people that come to conventions that don't even know who voice actors are, right? I was like, there's some dude that sits in the game room and plays Smash Brothers the whole weekend and could care less whether you're here. Why are you worth $5,000? So Smash Brothers is my go-to term now. I use Smash Brothers for everything. So yeah. And plus, I heard that if you play with Jigglypuff, you're cheating, somebody said, which, man, I don't care. It's all about Jigglypuff to me. It's always about Jigglypuff. I actually have a workout shirt that I just ordered, and it's got Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff, and it says, I'm turning my puff into tough. It's called Active. If you want to see some great nerdy workout clothes, go to activatedapparel.com. It's really not Activate. That's like some not stinky clothes or whatever, but Activated Apparel is clothes you're meant to get stinky. But it's like nerd workout clothes. It's so funny. It's like all these Dragon Ball Z workout shirts. And they're like, it's funny. Really, really, really good stuff. So anyway. So no, I have nothing against Smash Brothers at all. It's just it's a go-to term. It's my Inuyasha joke. If you're at my panel, the other panel, you know what an Inuyasha joke is. Yeah.
Did you do a voice in the anime Ghost Story?
Yes, I did. I'm also credited as one of the writers of that show. Actually, every single one of the leads is credited as a writer on the show. And the good news is, if you don't know it, it was just re-released, so you can buy the whole thing for $40 now, which it was being sold on eBay for like $300. The best thing about, let me explain to everybody what Ghost Stories is, and I'll tell you something. I just heard at a music gig that I just did. Somebody was telling me how much they loved it, but anyway, I'll tell you. Okay. So, for those of y'all that don't know, there was a show that came out in Japan called Ghost Stories in High School that really sucked. It was horrible, it was beautiful animation, rotten storyline, like not well thought out. The company that produced it spent a lot of money on the animation, it looked fantastic, but it got shoved into a children's time slot like Scooby-Doo. the thing is, it was too complex for children to understand because it's basically a bunch of kids and Chinese and Japanese ghost legends. And like, long story short, but cat wanders into haunted schoolhouse. Cat gets possessed by giant evil spirit. New spirit appears each week. Children have to defeat the evil spirit. Ooh, Scooby-Doo theme roll. So the company that sold this could not get anyone in the States to buy it. And this was at the time where American companies were buying everything. Like, oh, is it animated? Yes, we'll buy it. Nobody wanted this show. So that should say something about the show to begin with. It was an egg. And finally, they lowered the price, and nobody wanted it. They lowered the price, nobody wanted it. They made it almost free, nobody wanted it. And finally, they approached ADV Films, and they're like, look, we know this is bad, apparently, and nobody wants it. You can do whatever you want with this. And one of our directors said, oh, really? And legend was born. So we had real strict rules. Basically, we were not allowed to change any of our names. We weren't allowed to change any of the ghost names because they're based on real Chinese and Japanese ghost legends. We had to kill the ghost in a proper manner because it's usually tied in with the legend or the myth behind that ghost. But we didn't have to stick true to the spell. Like, so the thing was, we had to hold hands and say, you know, Katabe, Katabe, go away, Katabe, Katabe, you can't play, or something. We could change it to like, Katabe, Katabe, kick the bucket, Katabe, Katabe, you can suck it, and stuff like that. So like, we got to change, and we couldn't change the basic storyline. But other than that, we could do whatever we wanted. And we did. And we make fun of everybody in that show. We make fun of each other. They say that Vic got Hillary pregnant at one point. They make fun of me and Chris Patton in the same sentence, which is funny because Chris Patton and I are in that scene. We make fun of George Bush gets it good and proper because we're from Texas and we've always wanted to do that to him. The sad thing is we didn't have like a lot of other people that we could. I play a little Jewish kid and I didn't know, man, had I known about Mel Gibson then. But I was the one that started the horrible joke against Christian Slater. There is a scene where we're watching this it's this haunted parking garage, but something about it when we were recording it, and this is basically the way the whole recording process worked. We watch it and then we try to think of what to say in that situation, and so it just looked like this. It looked like a construction site, and it looked like, I don't know why, but when I was looking at it, it reminded me of the story that Christian Slater tells about how his mother died in the movie Heathers. And so I was like, whoa, run this again? Hang on a second, let me watch it. And I was like, okay, record. I think I got one. And so my character's voice, and you'll have to forgive me because I was partying late last night. I know that's a shock. But my character goes, this reminds me of that scene in Heathers. Remember when Christian Slater had a career? And that joke never finished. We said it the rest of the show when like people died and they were getting on the boat to cross the river Styx. We're like, Kurt Cobain, Walter Cronkite, Christian Slater's career. Like that became this joke forever and ever and ever. Like it's so. The funny thing is, Monica and I were sent to Otakon to premiere this show, and like at the time, nobody had ever done anything like this. This was not like an MST3K thing. We had actually overdubbed the original with this raunchy, dub. That's in some cases like took huge swings at everything around us, and. When we got up, of course, the internet activists, I can't believe anyone would dare to do something awful to such a classic as Ghost Story in high school. I will tell everybody on Tumblr. So, it became this big thing. So there were a group of people waiting for us to do it, and we got booed. And Monica and I just laughed. We were like, boo, boo. And Monica and I were like, So the funniest thing about that, so we got such a nasty reaction, well, it became a cult sensation. It was like a Rocky Horror phenomenon. Everybody that saw it was just like, oh my God, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. And that year we beat Full Metal Alchemist for Dub of the Year in animated put that in your little silver arm. So we did that show, and here's the sad thing, we planned on redubbing it every 5 years, the first 5 episodes, as a thank you to fans, because it sold multiple times over the original sales in Japan. Like, it has doubled and tripled and quadrupled its sales just on iTunes alone when it was on iTunes. It was only on iTunes for like 5 or 6 months. And it sold like gangbusters on iTunes. So we thought, you know, what would be really cool is every 5 years, because the landscape changes, all the pop culture people change. We didn't have Justin Bieber, Lindsay Lohan was going to be a giant hot mess, Mel Gibson, Monica plays the conservative, so I'm sure Sarah Palin would have been some huge cannon fodder. Like, we didn't have that, and we're like, man, we've got Lady Gaga and all this fun stuff to play around with, and we were going to do it for like a real cheap download, and then the license got pulled on it. And so, because it was doing so well. And the funny thing is, I think the plan was it was going to be released for a lot more money, and then somebody said, no, the American market won't pay more. And so then they just dropped the license again. Well, luckily, Discotech Media, who is fantastic at doing what we call license rescues, they go find shows that no one owns the rights to, and they repress them and resell them. Discotech grabbed it because they could see a need for it. I mean, you could go on eBay and see the price climbing. And so they're like, let's get this. And they packaged it as a one-shot deal, and it's $40, and you can have the whole Inappropriate show now in one purchase. Ghost Stories. And they've got it. They're selling it. I've probably signed about 20 of them this weekend. So they have the new version out. It's just one shot. It's really funny. So yeah, I was a part of that crazy atrocity, but it's one I don't think anything will ever be that much fun. I mean, that was still, as much as I enjoyed recording Daikon Brothers, not nearly as fun. Like, Ghost Stories is one of the funniest things, and there's so many jokes. The jokes are coming out at like 100 miles an hour, and you're not even meant to get all of them. There is a joke for older female impersonators, and I was the one that said it, and I told my director, who's an older gay guy, and I was like, Steven, nobody's going to ever get this joke. He goes, someone will get this joke. That's the whole point. Someone will get this. That will make their day. And that's the whole thing. There's so many just jokes coming out that, like, you won't get all of them, but the ones that are directed, like, at you or your friends or whatever, you're like, Well, so I was watching the premiere of it, and it's in, like, the 2nd or 3rd episode. It's the episode where I'm the little magician on the stage, and they raise him up. The chant that he says is the words to an old song that drag queens used to use. It's called I've Never Been to Paradise, or I've Been to Paradise, but I've Never Been to Me is the name of the song. And I say a line from the song during the spell, and I did, and there's another gay voice actor named Jamie McGonigal, who is like a big gay rights activist, and I was watching it, and I said that line, Jamie McGonigal goes, So, like, Steven's point was proven. Like, not everybody's going to get every joke, but the person that does is like, oh my God, did they really just say that? So, it's a really fun show. I was really proud to be a part of it. I think everybody in it is hysterical. My favorite, Christine Otten, who most people know is like Lady Death, and what's Rath's mother's name in FMA?
Izumi?
What is it?
Izumi?
Izumi, yeah, she's Izumi in Full Metal Alchemist. Most people know her as this like low-voiced, you know, very sexy older woman. She plays this bratty little kid that cries the entire show. And after like 3 episodes, they decided to just take all of his dialogue away. Like, and they're like, Ketchero, I think you're retarded. And like, that became this joke. And he only says like certain lines like, what's a lesbian? And like, so it's really like, she kills me in this show. She's so funny. And the other person that walks away with the entire show is Rob Mungle, who played Pedro in Excel Saga, is the voice of the demon-possessed cat. He is the funniest thing on earth, and I'll just leave it there. But yeah, funny show. If you haven't seen it now, I'm happy to say it's available, so definitely. Okay, who's got another question? Yes?
What was your favorite part about working on and with Dead Man Wonderland?
Oh man, saying horrible things that I never thought I would ever say into a microphone. No, I mean, that's funny. Like, when I saw the script, I'm like, who is going to say this line? And they're like, oh, that's actually the doppelganger version of you. I was like, oh, so who's going to be that? And they're like, you? I was like, oh, that's a really dirty line. The funny thing about that line, it's the line with the C word in it. My mother, who's a Sunday school teacher, was getting her Sunday school lesson ready when we were watching it on Toonami. And she just said it happened, and she goes, well, look at you all grown up, or something. But I don't know. I mean, like, I love Dead Man Wonderland for so many different reasons. One, I like the fact that, you know, I play a lot of wimpy kids, which is funny. I know actors that hate to play wimpy kids. I love it because I'm not a wimp in real life, so it's fun to play that little kid that cries and everything. And but for once, this kid that I play is not a wimp forever. Like, this kid grows a pair and actually learns how to really defend, you know, Shiro and all this other stuff. So that, it's got my favorite, most memorable scream in it. The one right before, right when he's being forced to watch the Cannibal Corpse competition. That scream at the end of that episode is just like, it hurts my throat to listen to, but I love it. It sounds really awesome. And I think it was really cool because, and I won't get into the political ramifications of this because somebody will get on the internet and be an armchair hero as usual. But I love that that show is a part of a catalyst for Toonami to kind of come back in as a driving force because anime on television had really been kind of a stalemate. There were people like, oh, nobody watches anime. And, you know, Jason DeMarco, who started Toonami up again, really believes in anime and is a huge anime fan. And it's cool that we were a part of such a strong Toonami relaunch. So I love that. But yeah, what's not to love about Dead Man Wonderland? Like, it starts on a quick note, it stays interesting the whole time. So yeah, it's a really great, fast-paced show. And as you can tell, I don't have excess energy at all, so I like fast things. Yeah, somebody else. Yeah. You, looking behind you. Yes, the white bow tie.
I just watched the preview for the premiere of Carnival. Were you excited when you found out about playing Ganki?
Here's the thing, I didn't know much about Carnival, but the cool thing is I had just been in the UK and there were a group of Carnival cosplayers and it was fantastic. And I was like, wow. And I like the Yogi cosplayer was just perfect. And I was just like, what are you guys from? And they're like, oh, it's a show called Carnival. And I was like, wow. And see, I don't watch anything illegally because I'm that guy, you know, I'm a big crusader against piracy. So like, I didn't really know anything about this show. I just knew that it was beautiful. And then so I looked up the show name online and I saw some of the artwork and I was like, wow, this really looks cool. And luckily one of my favorite directors who I work with all the time, Christopher Bevins, got the show and he's like, hey, would you send in an audition for the show? And I honestly thought I'd end up playing Nye because I usually end up playing the little wimpy guy, but because Sean Teague and I had such a great dynamic in Big Wind Up, as me being the kind of bossy, like, hey kid, cut it out. And him being like, oh, hey, you know, like, they ended up putting us in the show together again, and he's like, look, I want y'all to have that same feel, but I don't want this to be a repeat of Big Wind Up either. I want y'all to have a new dynamic. So it's neat. I think putting Sean Teague and I together is like putting Cartman and Butters in the same episode. It's just gonna work out well. So, but I love his voice. I think his voice is perfect for that character. I know there's somebody recently told me, like, I hate his voice. I'm like, I think it's perfect. I don't care what you say. Especially when you find out his true form later. Like, it's so funny. That voice is just perfect for that character. But I was really excited about it only because I thought it was beautiful, like I said. And that's where cosplay has a lot to do with, like, what shows or games I'm interested in. Like, I used to see, what was the game that somebody, like, there's several things that I've, like, found interest in because it was something I saw at a convention, you know, somebody cosplaying or whatnot. So, I think because I didn't know anything about the show, it made the show so much more fun to work on. Because I was like, wow, this story is way cooler than I thought it would be, you know, because some shows are just pretty. Some shows that are just pretty. They're not very good, but they're pretty. But this show is really interesting. It had a really cool story and everything. So, yeah. Yes, their finger in the air. Yes.
Hello, this is my first convention.
Awesome.
All the way from South Wales.
South Wales, awesome. What part? Like where?
I'm currently staying in South Wales in Swansea.
Ah, Swansea, awesome.
So hence no accent. Just wondered how you found my neck of the woods.
There's it's really funny. So I did I'm a DJ, so like obviously European music, specifically British music, has influenced me my whole life. So when I first did conventions, I had the opportunity to go to London, or right outside of London, Leicester, to do a convention there. So it was the most exciting thing I'd ever done, and it was probably the worst experience of my life. It was just horrible. They treated me horribly. They didn't pick up a single meal. They treated me as if I was on holiday there, and I was like, you asked me to come here. Like, we were there during a terrorist event, so we didn't know whether we were... Remember the plot to blow up planes in the sky? We were up in the air when that started. So when we landed in the Birmingham airport, there were people with automatic rifles in the walkways. So we were like, there's not a lot of guns in England. Like, yeah, it was very weird. It was a very uncharacteristic entry, you know, especially because I go in and out of Heathrow, like, so it pretty much ruined me. And like, my fiance's family is British, and so it just killed him that I was like, oh, the worst time in the UK, and like, it really affected my attitude, even though I still listen to my favorite label is Hospital Records, you know, and I'm still a huge drum and bass fan, so like, I wasn't like, you know, hate the UK, but I just never had the idea to go back to a convention. Well, flash forward to about 2 or 3 years ago, now that a lot of actors are full of themselves, and a lot of voice actors are really expensive, and a lot of conventions can't afford voice actors. So there was this convention up in Middlesbrough, which is so far north, it's almost in Scotland.
Not all London.
Yeah, it's north, super north, which is funny because a lot of people in London, you know, tease, and, you know, oh, they must be from the north. Well, I was talking to my fiance, and he goes, you're actually going to really like it up there. He's like, the people are fantastic. You'll have a great time. And so what had happened was they had tried to get all these voice actors, and they were like, oh, I need $5,000. One of them had asked for £6,000. And I was like, did you explain how that exchange rate works? And Jane, the lady that was in charge, she goes, I did. And he said it was a very long time to be away from home. And I was like... And the crazy thing is, it was the most fantastic experience of my life. I love it. I feel like a part of me is still in Middlesbrough. I love that town, and I fly into Newcastle. I fly into London, so I get to look into the Queen's backyard on my way in. And then I fly to Newcastle, and then we drive from Newcastle to Middlesbrough. That is my family. Hang on, I'm gonna embarrass my dad. Yep. Oh, it's my mom. Hang on, mom. Hey, hang on just a second. Everybody, say hi to my dad. Hi. Hey, I'm on a panel. Can I call you back? All right, cool. Is everything okay? All right, cool. I'll call you in a little bit. All right, bye-bye. My brother and I are both here, so I'm like, you know we're at a convention, but my dad has the worst timing on call. Like, you can be like getting strip searched at the airport. You're ringing, like, Dad. So I love to hear that. Yeah, so they had given up, and there were no voice actors, and it was an anime convention, and somebody goes, one of my friends that was supposed to be a voice actor, he was a video game voice actor, he's a friend of mine that did some work for Rockstar Games, was like, well, have you tried to get any voice actors, like anime voice actors? And they're like, no, they're all too expensive. And he goes, okay, well, I've got a friend that helps staff conventions, and, you know, he's at a convention every weekend. Can I see if he's interested? And they're like, oh, well, would we know who he is? And he goes, well, I don't know. His name is Greg Ayres, but, you know, and they were like, can you give us his phone number? And I said, no, I can't do that, but I'll put you all in touch. And so I wrote a really honest letter. I was like, look, the last time I went to the UK, it was the most horrible thing in my life, and I said I would never go back. The only time I'm going to go back just for a hospitality event in London, or like, I really want to do the one in Cardiff, but or Brixton Academy. Anyway, but like, I said if I ever went back, it was for a vacation and never to do a convention. Even though I found anime fans, they're fantastic and lovely. I just had a bad time, and I said, look, please don't make me feel uncomfortable. Please don't. I was like, I don't require any money to be here. I'll come out for free. I said, but please make sure that if I want to go to get fish and chips, don't tell me I'm a tourist. Like, let me get my fish and chips and wrap them in newspaper, and you know, please, you know, make me feel welcome. And they were like, oh, we can do that. And I have a thing for sausage rolls, and like, and there's a place called Greg's. We can take you to Greg's to get sausage rolls. So that's the big thing. They take Greg to Greg's, and I'm like hooked on pasties now. So, so yeah, they brought me out. They were fantastic. And then that convention fell apart, and I was like, how will I ever get back to Middlesbrough? Like, I was like, how will I ever get back there? And a new con formed, and so I got to go back last year. And the coolest thing is I've made all these great friends. I'm trying to get 2 of them over here to the States. The guys that did all the live action fight choreography on the Blood Plus movie. These fantastic British martial artists named, they're SG Action. My friends Chris and Martin. But I got to meet them the next year, and they made me do the Weetabix challenge on camera and all this stuff, and had a great time. And I pretty much, when I said goodbye last year, I thought I wouldn't be back for many years, because that's a long way to bring the same actor out over and over and over. And they asked me, they're like, would you be willing to come back out? I was like, are you kidding me? I'm packing right now. So yeah, I'll be in Middlesbrough later this year, and I love it. I really hope to make it over to Wales at some point, because
I advise Cardiff. It has the biggest Greg's pasties shop. Hilarious accents.
Oh yeah, no, I love accent work, and so like my friends from Leeds, I love the Leeds accent. I love the Geordie accent, and when I'm up north, I got plenty of that. I love hearing people say book. I said, they're like, oh, I was like, you say with a book, and I was like, oh, you could say that all day, and I never get tired of hearing it. My friend Martin, I love, like, they're the two guys from SG Action, they're the guys from Leeds. And when I'm home, I can't ever say Martin. I'm like, I wonder what Martin is up to, because that's just his accent. But, oh yeah, fantastic accent study. And in fact, the first time I was in England was right after we did Negama, and we had made the conscious decision to not make Negi Welsh. And it was not because no one wanted to do the Welsh accent. We decided that if Negi was sent off to school, he was probably sent to London proper. You know, if he was going to be sent away to school, that's, you know, a little kid would probably be sent to, you know, he's like being upper or whatever. That's where he'd go. Well, so the first time I would ever premiere Negi was in a UK audience. And I'm doing a UK accent. I'm like, oh, F you, Funimation. Like, why did you do this? And like, well, it'd be really neat. And I was like, and it was like at the premiere, all nervous. Well, this guy came up to me at the autograph session. He's Welsh. He comes up to me and he goes, what's the matter? You don't want Negi to sound drunk. And I was like, no. He goes, well, on behalf of the Welsh, we forgive you. Like, this really nice, funny thing. So I was really nervous about that up front, but it ended up being okay. But oh, I love it. I'm so glad I took the chance to go back, because now I'm in love with the UK all over again. The funniest thing is, I have this like bucket list of places I want to go before I die, and one of them is Iceland. I want to go to Reykjavik, which is supposed to be the most fantastic place ever. And to me, Iceland is like a million moons away, and you'll never get to it. And so on my first trip over to the UK, I was like, this is a really long way, but sure, Iceland's way further. And I'm flipping on the channels, and I look at the map, and we're passing over Iceland. And I'm like, wait, we're here. Like, can we stop? So now that I know it's easy to get to Iceland, I might do that too soon. But yeah, but I'm hoping to get to, like, there's a convention in Sunderland. I'd like to go to Sunderland. I'd like to go to the smaller, I'm like not a big city person, like, which is funny, because I don't, like, because this is a smaller con, I forget that Minneapolis is a huge city. But like, I love smaller events where I can actually meet people and look people in the face and talk to them. And the Middlesbrough event is perfect. I know everybody's name at the end of the weekend. I was buying people gifts. I bought all these alpacas and gave them away. We call that con the alpacalypse, because just, they're like, what anime is that from? Where are these all, they kept calling them llamas. Where are these llamas coming from? I was like, they're alpacas, and it's a Vocaloid thing, and like, and so yeah, so we call it the alpacalypse, but, or alpacalypse con. But yeah, I hope to be doing more cons in the UK, like everywhere, anywhere, like, you know, Doncaster. I'll go anywhere. Plus, it's just only recently come out. I'm a closet case sports. There's one sport, the only sport that I've ever followed, and it happened because someone gave me the most fantastic gift at OhioCon this year as a birthday Christmas present. For years, like, I don't look like the guy that likes sports, and I didn't. I hated sports in high school. I love British football. Love British football. And I am this will probably make someone hate me in this room, but I am a die-hard Manchester United fan. Well, someone gave me what looked like, so gross, looked like the Manchester crest made out of poop. It was but it came, I know that it was bought at Old Trafford, so they're like, we wanted to get you something that no other American fan would have, and this is a person that had found out I was a Man U fan from someone else, and they were like, we wanted to, with the last time our son was over at Old Trafford, we said, please get Greg Ayres something that nobody else has, and we can't wait for you to see it. And I opened the box, and I'm like, It looks like poop. And then you read in silver letters. It's like this greenish brown. It's pressed really tight. And it says, Old Trafford, where legends tread, 100% authentic grass from the pitch of Old Trafford. And I was like... And the best thing is it's an older lady that gave it to me, and she goes, I mean, this is just fantastic. I mean, there may be David Beckham's sweat. Surely there's some of Wayne Rooney's tears in here. And I was just like... So, because that happened super publicly, all these people are like, what do you think of Juan Mata? What do you think of David Moyes? So, like, it's come out recently that I'm a Manchester fan, and I have to say United because there's Man City too. But, so I'm hoping at some point just to make a trip over to watch, like, I'd like to see Liverpool play, I'd like to see Manchester play, I'd like to see a lot of those guys play. It's so funny when you see it, I guess it's like watching movie stars in Hollywood. It's neat to see these guys play sports and then actually see it in person, I think would be a lot of fun. So yeah, there's my nerdy confession, there is one sport I follow. But in fact, 4-0 this morning, as late as I was out partying, I was like, hang on, I gotta watch a little bit of the game this morning. So yeah, so we won this morning. Anyway, now nerdy sports. I'm nerdy about a lot of things. That's the problem. I can't be a total fanboy of one thing because I have to be a fanboy of everything. So yeah, there was a question. Yeah. Oh, with the red sleeve, and then you after that. Yes. Oh wait, you both have red sleeves, white and red. Yes. Male. Yes. This one first, and then right directly. Y'all are sitting right in front of each other too. It's really impossible. I'm like, you. Yeah, both of you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You mentioned you play a lot of wimpy characters, but who do you think is the most manliest character to play?
That's tough. That's really tough. Manly as far as best physique, Chrono. He's got like this 28 pack when he's like big devil Chrono. But like, I think Son Goku from Sayuki's probably the best fighter of all of them. Not because he's the biggest or the strongest, but because he loves fighting. He's like, yeah, let's fight. Like he's all excited to fight. And most vicious is a tie, actually. Actually, my new character is the most vicious, but it doesn't count. I can't talk about it yet. But my most vicious is a cross between the serial killer I play in Gantz. I play a 16-year-old serial killer who is... I wanted them to skin him alive. I've never hated a character I've voiced more than this little kid. And my gender-bending character in Speedgrapher, Tsuchido, the little nose patch wearing, he looks like Sporty Spice, but he's vicious and like what makes him looks like the first time you see him, everybody thinks he's female because he's wearing this low cut, like this pirate cut shirt, but he's so buff, his muscles make it look like boobs, you know, on the animation. But he's vicious, like he pours alcohol on a bar and lights it on fire and just takes this guy's face on it, and like they're holding a guy down and he kicks him in the balls a bunch of times. So like he's a roughneck. He's a real rough little guy. But it's tough to say the strongest. If they were all to fight, I think Goku and Chrono would really tear each other up. I don't know who would win. I really don't know who would win at the end of that because Chrono's pretty fantastic when he's fighting. He's like trees flow over and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, they're both pretty awesome. I love that it's turned into my Gundam can you beat up your Gundam conversation. This is awesome. So yeah, and now directly in front of you with a red sleeve. Yes.
How do you feel when female fans ship your characters to other male characters?
Oh, I don't care. Here's how I feel about shipping anything. Do you think it's hot? Oh, then good. It's hot. That's the whole thing about any kind of fantasy. It's only supposed to be hot to you, yeah. Like, I get why people don't like to see it for them, but it's not for them, it's for you. Like, I don't think you should stick it in everybody's face. I have some yaoi friends that like shock yaoi. They're like, look. Like, you wouldn't like it if somebody did that with a Hustler magazine, would you? Then don't do that with this magazine either. There's, yeah, lightsabers, fork sword fight. I should say that. None of those words were dirty. But yeah, it's weird because Son Goku always gets made out to be the punk in everything. And I used to go like, why has he always got to be the punk? Because I made the mistake when I wrote my first website, which I haven't updated in 9 years, by the way. I keep saying, right now the front page is like, new site coming soon. And it's been saying that for like 6 years. It's like in like light years. In my Q&A, I said, one of the questions I got was, do you want to read my fan fiction? And I wrote, sure, I love reading what other people write. Ooh. So I learned my lesson. That question will not be on my new revamp of my website. But no, I'm a whatever floats your boat guy. Like, I'm not into passing judgment. And like, if you like it, you like it. If I don't like it, I'm not gonna watch it. Like, I hate onions, but it doesn't mean I'm not gonna let you eat any. So that's just the live and let live thing I'm trying to do right now. I said this, and I'll say it on camera, so nobody can ever make fun of me for doing it again. I said I'm trying to approach this is gonna be the weirdest thing you've ever heard me say. I'm trying to take a Justin Bieber approach to a lot of things, because however much you might not like that guy, he never acts really mean. Like, somebody hit him with a water bottle on stage and he goes, oh, that didn't feel too good. And like, while it seemed very dumb, like he never lets anything get the best of him. I watched him on a show where they're just berating him and he's like, oh, cold, man. And I was like, I need to learn to not let things get to me. So I'm trying to take a JB approach to it. There's all these people that think I like him anyway. I can't name you a single, except Baby, because the lyrics are so hard on that one. I don't know any of his songs, but like, I just used to find it so funny that adults hated him so much. I'm like, well, I don't concern myself with 15-year-olds. Why are you worried about this kid? Yeah, there's a whole Justin Bieber joke. And DC, they bring me Justin Bieber posters now at my panel. Speaking of tangents, I grab magazines in the airport all the time, and I grabbed what looked like a People magazine, and Bieber was on the cover, but like, it's not really about what's in it. It's like flip until you can turn your iPod on anyway on the plane. So I just grabbed this thing, and I didn't see that it was like special Justin Bieber edition of People magazine, and it's like, it had like 5 posters in it and stickers. So I was like, what do I do with this? So I asked people during my panel, what should I do with the Justin Bieber magazine? And there were great things, creepy things that to do. Like, somebody said to like roll it up and leave it on the back of a toilet in the public, bathroom, and like make it look really creepy. Somebody said to like give it so like I want to trust you with something. Can you please watch this for me? Like but then they were like, you should give the posters away at the Yowie panel as prizes. And so then they wanted me to draw awful things anyway. So I have this weird connection to Justin Bieber that I cannot explain now, and I didn't ask for it, but so I might as well try to look on the bright side of that. But anyway, who's got another question? The what?
Especially as he is now.
I haven't seen him in the last 5 minutes, so I don't know how he is right now. Like, I don't keep up with any pop culture thing because I think it's ridiculous. Because I do what I do for a living, I think it's ridiculous that people have cameras pointed at them all the time anyway. So, yeah, in the orange shirt. In the orange, yes, looking behind you.
Sorry.
I know, now everybody will be like, oh yeah, me.
What's the most difficult character you ever had to voice?
In terms of voice, it's always going to be Nagy Springfield. It's the only voice I won't do for any, it doesn't matter how hard someone asks, I will not do that voice in public, because it hurts, and if you get it wrong, they'll be like, huh, that doesn't sound anything like Nagy. I'm like, I assure you I did the voice. Like, I love the accent. I'll do the accent work all day. I love that, little RP British accent, but I can't do that voice. We said that, like, he sounds like a little church mouse. Like, if there was a Christmas special, he would be a little church mouse that comes out with a candle with little glasses and says something like, I wonder if St. Nicholas has left me any cheese or something, and then goes back on the clock. Like, that's that voice, and I find it so adorable, but it hurts so bad to do that voice, because originally what they had me do is just speaking in a higher voice, and then they pitched me up to semitones. They used software to pitch me up. Well, I asked if I could have a reference file to work with. So a reference file is something that you can take home and work with so that the next time you come in, because it could be 6 months before you record on the show again, so that I'm in the same voice. They gave me the pitched up version. And then, so for weeks I was like, this really hurts. Well, I managed to get my voice up to where the software had me. So then I came in and started doing that voice, and they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, that's his voice, that's the reference file you gave me. They're like, no, he didn't. I was like, yeah, because they would pitch it up and it sounded ridiculous. And so they're like, hang on. Can we see your disc or your files? And so I was like, well, you send it, I'll send it to you. And they're like, oh my God, we sent you the old files. I was like, well, why don't we just re-record the first? So I don't know how we ever overcame the fact that I finally learned to do the software jump. But because of that, we always talk about everybody's voice has a ceiling. Like, you can only go so high. Well, like, Negi is enough to blow through. There's that close to the ceiling, like that close. So if he has to scream, like, there's nowhere to go pitch-wise. He's already like, you know, top, like, violin string. So it's tough. It's really, really tough. And as far as emotional, this new show that I just finished, and I can talk about it finally. It's a show called From the New World, and I play a character called Satoru Asahina, who starts the show at 6. You see him at 6, at 12, at 14, at 19, at 26, and 36. And I was like, I never get to play anybody over like 21, ever. So, and I just heard the end, and it's so cool to hear me sound like some old dude. I was like, and it's a fantastic show, but it's a emotional roller coaster. It's vocally all over the place. So yeah, From the New World is probably the toughest acting-wise so far. Yeah. Who's got another one? Yes, in the front. Which app? Oh my gosh. Okay, now he's going to show you what a giant nerd I am. It's called Barcode Kimono. Let me tell you how to spell it. You're going to see what a nerd I am. Hang on. Where's my wife? It's barcode is one word, and Konojo is spelled with a K. Konojo. It's a program that you put on your iPhone, and you scan barcodes. It's kind of like Monster Rancher, only it creates a wife for you, a girlfriend, based on the barcode. And then you can buy her things and take her on dates and be very, anyway. So I have a harem. I have 6 wives on barcode. I have a blue wife. Because after, this is so ridiculous. I can't believe you're getting me to do this. If you create a girlfriend you like so much, you can buy for real money a ring so that nobody can take her. Well, every girl I like, I want to keep her forever. So I have like 6 wives now, and but they're all based on the name of whatever the barcode I scanned. So the first wife I made was from an A&W hamburger coupon. So her name is like Twerk Burger. Wives have all these weird names. Yeah, I'll leave it there because this is all ages. But yeah, but it's funny. And there's also an app for the ladies called Sleepy Time Boyfriend, and it's like these beautiful little manga boys, these like super shonen boys that are like, and have cat ears and stuff. And you hit the button and they talk to you, or you can go to Sleepy Time mode, and then they're like with their shirt open, laying down, and they're like whispering and like. I used to think it funny to freak my boyfriend out and trigger it late at night. So it's like, you know, like saying, because I don't speak Japanese, and he's like, stop it. So I thought it was funny. So yeah, I was like, yes, now you made me sound like a Japanese junior high school student. Thank you. But those applications are fun, and both of them are free on the Apple Store. Yeah.
Is there an anime that you've done that you wish got more attention than it did?
So many of them. I think Another is one of my favorite anime I've ever done, and I don't think it got near the attention that Dead Man Wonderland got, and I think it's got a better story. Now, and I'm not bagging on Dead Man Wonderland, but I love, in the theme of a horror movie, one of the things I hate about horror movies now is you always know how they're going to end. You're like, oh, okay, you know, that picture's going to come to life, and it's going to eat that baby, or whatever. with Another, you never, ever, ever, ever expect the end of that show. You would never predict it in a million years. I think it's brilliantly written. I think it's the creepiest thing Monica Rial has ever done in her career. She's fantastic in that show. She and I love that we always end up playing girlfriend, because she's really one of my best friends in real life. So it's funny. I mean, we used to go to like mindless self-indulgence concerts and stuff together. So like, I mean, we're knock around pals. So it's funny that we're always connected in these shows. But she said after we did that show, she's like, we should do all the bloody shows. Well, we're in another one too now that we can't talk about. And I'm like, what is this, Monica? You cursed us. Now we're doing all the bloody shows. So, but another never got the love it should have. Beck, even though it got a lot of love, in Canada it ran on MTV. And that changed the playing field for that show. And sadly, we couldn't get it on MTV. And there's a lot of things that were missed balls with that show, that I think that show was going to be fabulous. Did I say fabulous? Really? Wow. There we go. Chalk one up for the stereotypes. There's a lot of shows that I've done. A lot of the shows I've done for Sentai recently. Number 6, I think, is just fantastic. And I think it's a great show because it's a crossover for people that may not like yaoi, but could handle like a little bro kiss, maybe. Because it's such a fantastic sci-fi, like, Orwellian story that, okay, so these two do kiss, whatever. But if you like a little yaoi, if you like your broe, a little moe, they've got it there. So, but I think a lot of those shows, if they don't get promoted, I think that's one of the things that's wrong with fandom right now. It's everything's based on what's really hot. What does everybody like? So it's like, if the big thing is Attack on Titan right now, all these other shows are going to slide in under the wire. And while everybody's freaking out, like, you know, on that show, people will miss a bunch of other shows. And the whole thing is, you watch all of them. You can't just watch Attack on Titan over and over and over and over and over. Like, it's like Italia. You can't just watch Italia over and over. Like, watch them all of the shows. So, like, that's one of the hard things. And I think that's just a trend in fandom right now. It's like real, like, what's hot right the second show. I love it when somebody says, oh, this is the most important anime of all time. And I'm like, yeah, that used to be Gundam, and then it was Eva, and then it was Ranma, and then for the people that miss Ranma, it was Inuyasha, and there was like, it's all these others. So I know it's cyclical, but I love a lot of shows. I just did a show, this is probably saying more about me than I should, but I just did the show called Say I Love You, and I love it. And I play a horn dog, which, shock, I've never played a horn dog in a show, ever. But for once, the horn dog gets the girlfriend, and instead of completely being a horn dog, they just fall in love, and they're happy the rest of the show. You never have a problem with these characters. They're just kind of like background stuff after that. And it's Monica, of course. He's obsessed with Monica's character's boobs. And he, at one point, says he loves her big boobs, and she gets hurt and runs out of the room, and the female character is like, you're awful. And he's like, what? I love her big boobs. And she's like, don't you ever think that embarrasses her? So he has this heartwarming, like this totally honest, like, well, I mean, sure, I love your boobs. I think they're great. But I like the way the room lights up when you walk in. And it has this beautiful little thing. And I'm like, ah. And then she's like, okay. And they like just become this cute little couple. It's like, I think it's the most fantastic romance. And it was neat because we do this thing in Houston called Anime at the Alamo, which is, we have this theater called Alamo Draft House where you go to the movies and they serve you beer and pizza and sandwiches and pretzels and stuff. It's like food in a movie. And they let us do one night a month, or one night a week free. Like you can just come in for free and watch anime on a big screen, provided you buy food and drink. So like, you get 2 things for the price of 1. It's a little pricey, the food is, but whatever. It was so cool to watch a romantic comedy with a big room full of people to actually hear, oh, like I don't think people meant to do it out loud. They just did it, and because there were 200 awes, it was like this big, oh. It was so funny to watch that show with that crowd. So, yeah. But if you get a chance, Say I Love You is fantastic. Another one that I think is just brilliant that I got to work on is a show called F, A Tale of Memories, and F, A Tale of Melodies is another heartbreaker, but, and then Angel Beats, but that found its audience. I was worried nobody would like that. Clannad didn't have a problem, that's a huge show, yeah. So like, I'm naming all the sad shows now. What is that? One of my best friends is a rapper, and so I know all these nerdcore rappers now. And one of them is like, I'm friends with Greg. I should watch some show he's in. So he did a search for me on Netflix, and the first thing that came up was Angel Beats, which looks like a really rad show for the first episode. And the next day, it's this guy named Dr. Awkward. Doc Ock wrote on my wall. He goes, "Listen, Mister, the next time you make me cry while I'm watching cartoons, we will talk." I love that show. I always have Angel Beats on my iPad, so I can always watch it. So we just gotta, yeah, up front.
Is there a moment when recording that you
This is one of those jobs that it's always fun. Like, even when it's not fun, I have to remember that I used to get yelled at by lawyers for a living. So I really love my job. Every day I think, oh, this is the funny thing I'm never gonna forget. And then like the next week somebody, farts in the booth or something. Like something always tops itself. And because it's such a fun job, like there are tons of things. Practical jokes we play on each other seem to stand out, but that's just because, we're like, oh, I got Lucy good or whatever. But I pretty much have fun all the time. I love my job. So yeah, in the lab coat.
What's your least favorite role?
Least favorite role? I don't know that I have a least favorite role. I think recording-wise, it would have to be Negi, just because it hurts. But I love that show and I love that character. There's shows that are not my cup of tea, but I'm trying not to ever say I don't like that because I sign lots of them. So I'm like, well, surely somebody likes it. There are shows that are harder. Like, I don't make any excuses about saying I hated recording or on High School Host Club. Horribly. I hated that process. It was awful. Because Todd Habercorn and I didn't have any freedom over our characters. Whoever started that line, that's how we both had to say it. And like, that's no way for an actor to have to do. So it was really, and the recording schedule was real arduous. So that said, it made watching it fun because I didn't enjoy recording it. So I was like, whatever. Like, and so that when I got to sit down and watch it, it was effortless. It made it fun. So I don't know. It's hard. Like, it's a job, so you have bad days at work some days. Like that's just any job. You don't get along with everybody. I don't definitely don't get along with everyone I work with. So some more famously than others. But yeah, They never called me. Aww. My friends that work other conventions, that are working other conventions now, that know I'm on a panel, are like, you never called me the other day. I'm gonna write, I'm sorry, boo. I'm sorry, boo. Frowny face. If he calls back, I'm just gonna take a picture of you guys and send it to him. But yeah, it's hard. I mean, like, I think Neki was the most sustained period of pain I've ever been in. And there's only one close second, and it was only one session. But this is how much one session can hurt. My character, and this is not a spoiler because it doesn't kill him, but my character in Gantz at one point is on fire and screams for over a minute straight. Just hysterically. Because when you're on fire, you don't go, ah! There's no other way to scream but like, you are on fire. So, because when your voice gets that loud, it can actually do things to distort the recording input on the mic. I had to do that scream probably about 15 times. And by the end of it, I was just holding onto the sides of my throat and pressing down while I was recording. It hurt so bad. But again, that's one hard shredder, and then I was done. Sadly, I started a very sweet little innocent show the next day, and they had to scrap everything I did the next day because I sounded like this, like all day long. But so yeah, so it's tough. What else? Yeah, right up front. Nope, not. And here's why. This is a job, this is a business, and right now, for instance, the studio I work for in Houston, Sentai Filmworks, it used to be that when we did a show, we'd have like weeks and weeks and weeks to finish the first volume. I did all of number 6, and I have one of the leads in the show. I recorded that whole show in 13 hours. You don't have a chance to not be able to get it. You ask the director, I need a reference line. I need a reference line. And you just get into the character. And it's why I'm a real anti-believer in method acting. Like, there's some actors that think they have to believe they're that character. You're an actor. It's your job to act. Believing that you're that character has killed actors before. Like, my job as an actor, if somebody says scream, I go, ah! You know, like, I just do it. So part of this job is being able to walk in and just put it out there. And that's part of being, I think part of being an actor in general is just being able to, like, not be afraid to make a fool of yourself, like, you know, like, because it's your job to entertain. There are shows where the voice has changed over the time period, and while some people would blame the actor, that's the director's fault. It's up to the director to have a good enough ear to know that you're staying in voice, in the character you set. Because when I was doing, for instance, when I was working on Chrono Crusade, I was working on 6 other shows at the same time. One of them being Hello Kitty, for God's sakes. I would go from Gantz to Hello Kitty, actually. Like, Chrono Crusade, Gantz, Hello Kitty, Udor, Revimano, like, and bounce. So, like, sometimes it's hard just when you're doing project after project and you're bouncing from one studio to the next. Like, there were days that Monica, Chris Patton, Vic, and Ilyich and I were just, like, crossing the halls all day from each other, because we're just like, well, from 10 to 12 I'm with Steven, and then after that I go with Don, and then after that I'm recording Hello Kitty with Sandra, and then I'm recording till 10 o'clock with Matt. And that's your whole day. You're like just being different people all day long, which is a very psychotic feeling, but it's the job too. It is totally the job. So the realistic answer is, if you were the kind of person that had to walk out on a session, you would probably never work again. That's what a competitive business this is. So yeah. Hunter, I know that guy's name.
Hey. So throughout your career, you've done a variety of voices, and have you ever found an opportunity to use them in people way outside of your voice acting?
Oh yeah. I just use like, I'm an actress. That means I'm usually broke. So when creditors call, man, my 5-year-old voice happens. Like, if that phone number I don't recognize, I'm like, especially if I see it's like from Phoenix or something, like, hello? Is Greg Ayres there? Because bill collectors can't say my last name either. And I'm like, he's not on. Mom! Actually call for Mom, and I'm like, no, he's, call back, and I'll just hang up. I won't even, like, get a message, because a little kid would go, can I take a number? Like, if I did that, it wouldn't be believable. So yeah, I've used my acting, but not for anything nefarious. Like, I've never used it, like, I'll talk to you like Goku if you come to dinner. No, cheese ball. But I have, scribble collector, so, but no, I mean, I have fun with it. I used to do other people's voice messages just to freak other people out. I do, like, real high-pitched voices and stuff, but mainly for amusement, never for evil. Yeah.
For the past years you've been doing this, have you ever met voice actors that come and gone and that you wish are still in the industry?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's tons of them. Because this is a way competitive industry. One of my favorite actresses now doesn't do a lot of anime stuff, but she played the voice. She was the voice of Boogie Pop in Boogie Pop Phantom. Deborah Bai, who's this fantastic voice actress from New York, but she does looping for films now. She doesn't miss anime because she makes a lot of money looping films. She did. I remember when she first started, she said something about, I did these 4 lines, these loop lines to cover. I don't know if I can say the actress's name because it's a legal thing, but like. She did this loop. It was basically 4 lines. It paid her rent in New York, in Manhattan, for a few months. I'm like, I need to get into looping. And that's true with a lot of things. I think a lot of people think voice actors make a lot of money, and we don't, which is why you see a lot of people come and go. I think that's kind of the history behind Kaoru Nagisa and Evangelion changing all the time, because that actor kept changing because those actors kept moving around. Kyle Sturtevant, who did it in the original TV series, opened his own theater company, so nobody could find him. Then Aaron Crone, who did it in the films, moved to New York to be a stage actor, so they couldn't get him. Then I did it in number 3. I don't really understand why I'm not doing it in the films, but Monica and I both got downgraded. At least poor Monica's a penguin now. Monica's playing Pen, so at least I'm still a human being. And there we go. But a lot of people come and go from the industry, and it's funny because we lost one of probably, I think, the most gifted actresses we ever had due to some really bad fan behavior at one point. And I'm happy to say she is back with a vengeance, and that's Jessica Calvello. And she is a force of nature. She was the original voice of Excel in Excel Saga, and she's been Cutie Honey and all these old classic things. She has the lead in Maria Holic, and she is hysterical. She's also in Attack on Titan. She's doing a lot of shows now, and she can make a dog laugh. She's so funny. She's such a great person. So I'm stoked to say Jessica Calvello's back. I just knocked the button off. Oh, it's my Mad Diesel button. Hillary Haig doesn't work as much as she used to because she's got a full-time job and she's a mommy. Lucy still works a lot, but Lucy can't do conventions because she's got 2 brand new babies, so she wants to be a mommy too. So I think a lot of people come and go from this business. I think it's the nature of the business, but I hope we don't lose a bunch. I think they're always still, man. Yeah, it is. It is. Can you tell what one of my favorite TV shows is? Here, wait. I'm just gonna do this. Everybody say hi to Greg Ayres. And I'll use this photo and say, my panel said hi. My panel says, hi, they heart you. And speech to text. Come on, speech to text. I know, Siri, it's tough. I believe in you. I'll just let you think about that for a second. Yeah, I think that's the nature of the business, though. I think we lose people from time to time. So there you go. My panel says, hi, they heart you. Send. Whoosh. I need the typewriter, the Law & Order typewriter for the send sound, so I can have all the Law & Order. Yeah. Anybody got anything? I don't even know. Are we out of time? 5:34. Yeah, I think we're over, but I'll take like 1 or 2 last questions. Yes, Honey Senpai. Are you Honey or are you Tamaki? Honey, good. Okay. I love bucket test. I play perverts and everything, which I think is hysterical. And I won't say that's not true, but the coolest thing about doing bucket test is my character is such a memorable character that I had the opportunity to meet one of the writers from bucket test. We were at a convention, and she, myself, and Josh Greenlee were all at a table together. Well, the translator left. They were like, oh, well, we'll put all the bucket test people together, and then she left. This writer did not speak a word of English. And we didn't speak any Japanese, and so there was that very awkward... So finally, she goes, Bakuro desu. I was like, I love that my character is so easily identifiable that the writer was like, That was really cool. I love that show. I love like all this weird upskirt crap. He's horrible. Anyway, so one last question, and then I think my brother's... What panel are you doing? Tales of the Sippy Cup? Yeah, so my brother's panel, just like this, my brother's solo panel is right after this. Dad will probably call you during your panel, because he just called me during mine. Who's got one last question? Oh, somebody's holding a ball up. I'm easily distracted. It's Tony. Oh, it's not Tony. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not Tony.
Oh, yeah. Like, Tony had an outfit very similar to that yesterday.
Yeah, well, we're officials from the Greg Lantern Corps. We got you your own Greg Lantern, so you can become one of the Greg Lanterns.
The Greg Lanterns. I will endorse this product. Please bring it forward. That is so... Oh, my God.
I tried to draw a picture of you.
That's awesome. Here, wait. This is the official close of this ceremony. Oh, wait. Don't do that. Here, now you have to smile like this is your product. Awesome. Official product photo. The Greg Lantern Oath. Wait. Darkest night, greatest light, no jam shall escape the stuff. That's awesome. Alright, thank you guys so much. I love you guys. I'll see y'all later.